Hmm. Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. We're getting ready. I know I'm on late. Sorry, I'm on the air. I made it. Uh, how's everybody doing? So I've been doing, I've been little by little. What up, Campa? What up, Mike? Danny K, Justin, how you doing? Thank you for the super hearts, Danny K. I did 10 minutes on a rope today. I did pretty good, man. He's still going to win. Hey, Tony, how are you? God bless you. God bless you, Tony. Thank you for those kind words. I like when you make, girl, you're making me blush. Nice. An hour bike ride. That's nice, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Tony, for those kind words. I'm working. I'm trying. I've been jumping rope. Get out of here. They got the Chaz zone over. It's crazy. What's up, Monarch? What's up, Shaw? So I've been doing like I've been reading about this thing, right? That's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, I can't get it out of my head. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, you know, I'm not a professional scientist. One day I will be. I'm a student. I'm an amateur trying to figure things out. I'm not down with Black Lives, Tomas. Black Lives Matters to me is a terrorist group like Antifa. What up, champ? So this is what I'm looking, right? I've been looking at this thing, right? from a different perspective. I have some articles, some things, right? Absolutely, Justin. But I want to drill down on this, all right? I don't have I'm not in the frequentistic zone with this, the frequentistic domain where I'm performing experiments. I'm getting repeatable results. I'm not over there. I'm just looking at this thing from the vantage point. We had asbestos. Later on, we found out was an issue. We had, remember, paint. The lead in the paint was an issue. Your fillings in your teeth down the road became an issue, right? So now, remember the cell phone, the flip ones? You put it to your head. It's okay. Is it okay? It's not okay. The science doesn't support it. You'll find out later. You put the cell phone to your head, you got a problem. A few years ago, they were frying eggs on a cell phone. So it's crazy, right? So I'm not saying there's a cause and effect relationship between the 5G and the COVID. I don't know. All we're looking at tonight is, does 5G pose a health hazard to us, right? Because we know, based on the letter that I read in the last show, that was it was a 5G appeal with 200 scientists throughout the world. They claim, Debbie, right? They claim 2G, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, now 5G, right? Now 5G. So just to start it off, I'm going to start It's incredible, Derek, right? I'm telling you. I'm not sure about the safety of the Bluetooth, right, champ? Tony, right? I don't know, right? And the audio, Justin, thank you for the shares. What up, Happy? My brother? Utah? You're in Utah? I'm telling you, Debbie. I mean, I don't know for a fact. I'm not a medical doctor, but I read an article and I've been doing a lot of on this thing. I'm not talking about a cause and effect relationship between COVID and 5G. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, right? So let's start now, right? So severe acute respiratory syndrome is a viral respiratory disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. The first identified strain of the SARS, and it caused a 2002-2004 outbreak, right? In late 2017, Chinese scientists traced the virus through the intermediary of Asian palm civets to cave-dwelling horseshoe bats in Wuhan, right? SARS, which was a relatively rare disease, at the end of the epidemic in June of 2003, the incidence was 8,422 cases, with the case fatality rate 11%. That's a lot. So no cases of SARS-CoV have been reported since 2004, right? Now, in 2019, the related virus strain, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, was discovered. This new strain causes COVID-19, a disease which brought about the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's where we are with this, right? So now, I went to this thing. I read it. I read it on the I read it my last show, which was Tuesday. I was really tired Wednesday. I took Wednesday off. There are a lot of things going on, right? So, according to, this is now, I'm going to read this, okay? According to, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I did the whole thing on Tuesday. The 5G appeal to the EU. Scientists and doctors warn of potential serious health effects of 5G. I'm only looking at whether there are serious health effects for 5G. I don't know. I'm trying to find out what the scientists, the doctors are saying. That's all. I'm not saying this has to do with COVID. I don't know. Okay. So it says here more than 180 scientists and doctors from 36 countries. I counted it. 22 of the almost 200 scientists were American scientists. It's like 20% of the scientists that sent this letter. You're probably right, Debbie. You're probably right. I think it is, Derek. I don't have incontrovertible truth. I don't have scientific fact, but I'm starting to think that this is some sort of tech thing. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. But the 200 scientists recommend a moratorium on the rollout of the 5G for telecommunication until potential hazards for human health and environment have been fully investigated by scientists. This was written in 2017. Independent from industry, the 5G will substantially increase exposure to radio frequency electromagnetic fields, RF, EMF, on top of the 2G, 3G, 4G, and Wi-Fi. For telecommunications already in place, the RF, EMF have proven to be harmful for humans and the environment. So this is the 5G appeal by scientists. I'm only focused on whether this thing conceivably could cause harm to us, right? So as I move forward on this thing, it gets a little dicey. It gets interesting. So the 5G technology is effective over only short distance. It is poorly transmitted through solid material. Many new antennas will be required, and full-scale implementation will result in antennas every 10 to 12 houses in urban areas. With the ever more extensive use of wireless, well, I checked the map. There's a 5G station based on this map, this UCLA map. You're right, Derek. Great point. Point well taken. Trump's winning. Trump is winning, bro. I was looking at the numbers. I want to get into this stuff, but I'll tell you, I was looking at the numbers, right? Because I love politics, and I called Trump in 16. I had him Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, and Florida. Trump is going to win Florida, right? They split. No. Trump is going to win. Great point, champ. Great. Absolutely. And we talked about it with that model, that primary model. Absolutely. Trump had the best primary numbers. He had better numbers than Obama. He blew Obama's numbers away. When Obama in 2012, when Obama was running with no opposition. I mean, you're 100% right. Great point. And I drilled down on numbers a little bit. I'm telling you, Biden does not get the numbers he needs. He's not Hillary Clinton. He's not. Biden isn't Hillary Clinton. Biden is not going to get Hillary Clinton numbers with the Latin vote. I'm telling you. The Hispanic vote is Trump's firewall. I'm telling you. Biden is not getting Hillary numbers for the Spanish vote. He's not getting it. Biden is not getting it. He needs more than what Hillary got. He's lucky he breaks 60. Trump is pushing 40% Latin vote, Hispanic vote. If he gets in the 40s in the Hispanic vote with all that enthusiasm from his base, that means the black vote is going to be in the double digits. 12, 13, 14%. Trump's winning by a landslide. And based on the primaries, Trump's performance in the primaries, it's going to be sick. We got Tyrone in the room. We got a troll. You're right. I'm not counting. Honestly, I mean, Candace Owens has done an amazing job with this Brexit thing, but unfortunately, the African Americans are too tied right now to the Democratic Party. I think it's going to take another 4 years. Quarantine, I think it's going to take another 4 years, you know? Absolutely, champ. But I just think it's going to take another 4 years, you know? There's too much tie with this Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's so self-serving. It is so self-serving, this Black Lives Matter. Terrorists, they kill cops like Antifa. I mean, it is so self-serving. It is ridiculous. It's so, quite honestly, it's so stupid, right? I wasn't even born. Talk about stuff 200 years ago. I wasn't even born. My grandparents were still in Italia thinking about coming here. I mean, this is crazy. This is insane. 200 years ago? Emancipation? I mean, come on, man. This is ridiculous. And they're seeing the mayor of New York, Cuomo was in the streets with Black Lives Matter, and the mayor of New York is doing murals. It's ridiculous. Black Lives Matter, get all that money, go get your private property, go build your headquarters, and put Black Lives Matter all over your property, not on public property. On public property? What about Hispanic Lives Matter? What about Asian Lives Matter? What about White Lives Matter? What about All Lives Matter? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. It is the dumbest, most stupidest stuff I've ever heard. Yeah, but think, they did the mural, right? The Jews are in a funeral in the streets. He arrested Jews, de Blasio, right? Yeah. De Blasio arrested the Jews, though. The Jews are in the streets in a funeral, arrest the Jews, right? The Muslims are praying in the streets. He ain't messing with the Muslims. He's afraid he'll get whacked. This is a joke. So check it out. Right? Jewish life. Of course, Camper. Jewish life. Absolutely. That's funny, Tony. Oh, my God. I tell you, you got to have a sense of humor over here, right? You think he's going to win California? Bro, let me tell you something. I'm telling you, I don't think Biden's going to have a tough time breaking 60 on the Hispanic vote. He's going to have a tough time breaking 60 on the Hispanic vote. I'm telling you, Trump is pushing mid to late 30s on Hispanic vote right now. Mid to the late 30s. If he has a push at the end, we're looking at over 40%. If he gets in the 40s on Hispanic, it is over. This thing is over. It's a landslide. His firewall, no, he didn't. How did he lose his firewall? Florida. He's winning Florida. Biden's not beating him in Florida. Trump is winning Florida. I had somebody on my show last week. I'm telling you, champ, Trump is going to get, bro, if he gets, if he gets 30% of the black vote, that means his Hispanic vote's going to be over 40%. This is a freaking rap. This is this is like Ronald Reagan. If Trump gets 30% of the black vote, what are you talking about? You win the state, you get those electoral votes. No. Oh, absolutely, champ. Understand, and right. That mail-in, that's the thing, right? Because that's how they're going to they're going to get duplicate, they're going to duplicate the, come on, man. China's against them. Iran is them. Russia's against them. All this, look what they're doing with who do you think's involved with Black Lives Matter and Antifa? All the way to East Asia. We got China. We got Wuhan. We got Iran is West Asia. This is crazy. You don't think they want to stop? Of course they want Biden in there with Hillary. I think it's going to be Hillary Clinton, bro. I think it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Veep. I can't get off that. Between Soros and Mohammed Javad Zarif admits open society works with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Black Lives Matter. They're with Colombian, born in Bogota, Maduro, who's the prime minister of Venezuela. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, man. You really, you just can't make this stuff up, man. It's just unbelievable, right? So I'm looking at these numbers. The Hispanic vote is the firewall for Trump. Trump and Biden. Biden is not going to get Hillary numbers on the Hispanic vote. It's over. This election is over. They're going to go after Trump till November 3rd. They're going to come out with stuff. They got a book coming out. They're trying to get to his financials. They're gonna throw everything up against the wall. This is the last hurrah for the Democrats. Trump is going to win. The Hispanic vote is Trump's firewall, and he's going to get it. Who is? Squeaky clean. Obama had 3 daddies, 3 names, 3 birth certificates, multiple social security numbers. No, Stacey Abrams ain't getting it. Gary, Stacey Abrams ain't getting it. I'm telling you, champ. Stacey Abrams ain't getting it. Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. I was thinking Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, or Kamala Harris. Elizabeth Warren was my first choice from a political perspective, but she's first of all, she's a fraud. She's a disgraceful liar, but she's a good debater, and she'll make Joe Biden look really bad, weak. Who needs help with the black vote? Trump won with 8% of the black vote. Right, Tony? Russian bounties. Yeah, tell me about it, Kyle. You tell me. Was that the FBI? You with the FBI? Are you an FBI? You with the deep state? CIA, FBI, Nexus? Either Kyle is a 16-year-old kid, or he's with the deep state. Right? If you vote for Trump, you ain't. If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. It's crazy. Who talks like that? He needs help with the black vote. Biden needs help with the black vote. Biden needs help with the black vote. That's too funny. This guy comes into my room. Come on, man. You go where you gotta go, Kyle. You sound like a snowflake anyway. I'm telling you, champ. What up, Tony? How you doing? Oh my God. So this is what I'm saying. I want to get back on this. So this letter from 200 scientists, with the ever more extensive use of wireless technology, nobody can avoid to be exposed, right? Because on top of the increased number of 5G transmitters, even within housing, shops, and in hospitals, according to the estimates, 10 to 20 billion connections to refrigerators, washing machines, surveillance cameras, self-driving cars, buses, etc., will be parts of the Internet of Things. All these together can cause a substantial increase in the total long-term RF EMF exposure to all EU. This is a letter to the EU. And then they went on to say, which I thought was kind of crazy now, right? Over 230 scientists from more than 40 countries have expressed their concerns serious concerns regarding the increase in exposure to EMF generated by electric and wireless devices already before the additional 5G rollout. They refer to the fact that numerous recent scientific publications have shown that EMF affects living organisms at levels well below most international national guidelines. So the EMF, the electromagnetic radiation below the international and national guidelines, are affecting human beings. Effects include increased cancer risk, cellular stress, increase in harmful free radicals, genetic damages, structural and functional changes of the rest of the reproductive system, learning and memory deficits, neurological disorders, and negative impacts on general well-being in human beings. Damage goes well beyond the human race, as there is growing evidence of harmful effects of both plants and animals. Now, so what up, Danny K? So the Europa EMF guideline 2016 states there is strong evidence that the long-term exposure to certain EMFs is a risk factor for disease such as cancers, Alzheimer's, male infertility, common EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity. Symptoms include headaches, concentration difficulties, sleep problems, depression, lack of energy, fatigue, and flu-like symptoms. I don't know. I'm just reading this letter. This was written in 2017. I'm going to read this paragraph and I'll go to something else. An increasing part of the European population is affected by ill health symptoms that have for many years have been linked to exposure to EMF and wireless radiation in the scientific literature. The International Scientific Declaration on EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, and multiple chemical sensitivity, MCS, Brussels 2015 declares, in view of our present scientific knowledge, we thereby stress all national and international bodies and institutions to recognize EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, and MCS, multiple chemical sensitivity, as true medical conditions, which acts as sentinel diseases may create a major public health concern in years to come. In all the countries implementing unrestricted use of electromagnetic field-based wireless technologies and marketed chemical substances, inaction is a cost to society and is not an option anymore. We unanimously acknowledge this serious hazard to public health, that major primary prevention measures are adopted and prioritized to face this worldwide pandemic in perspective. They predicted a worldwide pandemic in 2017 in this letter. I'm going to read this last 3 sentences and then I'll move it to something else. The current safety guidelines are obsolete. All proofs of harm mentioned above arise although the radiation is below the national, international safety guidelines. Therefore, new safety standards are necessary. The reasons for the misleading guidelines is that conflict of interest of the members that constructed these safety guidelines due to their relationships with telecommunication companies, electric companies, undermine the impartiality that should govern the regulation of public exposure standards for non-ionizing radiation. To evaluate cancer risks, it is necessary to include scientists with competence in medicine, especially oncology. So this is a letter that was sent by 200 plus scientists about 5G. I don't know. Now, I don't know, June. I don't know. That was a random comment. It was from a letter that was written to EU in 2017. 2017. Now, the electromagnetic radiation in Western Canada, on their website, they claim that Wuhan was one of the. Oh, the heart disease. Okay, gotcha. So, God bless you, Joel. Thank you for the invites. So, according to the Western Canada and electromagnetic radiation, Wuhan was one of the first. They had a few cities that were launching this 5G inside of China at the time. And their speculation is, I'm not saying this is true. All right, I'm not a professional scientist. I'm a student. I'm not a medical doctor. But be careful, right? Who knows, champ? That's a great question. So what if the deaths are not a virus, but a 5G cell breakdown that mimics the effects of a virus? I don't know. And according to they go on to say exposure to 5G waves leads to flu-like symptoms, which the scientists did say. And in that letter, "5G leads to a massive increase in mandatory exposure to wireless radiation." Okay, June, gotcha. What up, Captain? So, so interesting. So now I got this article, New York Times. It was written July 2019. The 5G health hazard that isn't, right? The 5G health hazard that isn't. So this basically poo-poos the things that we're talking about. The New York Times. How one scientist and his inaccurate chart led to unwarranted fears of wireless technology. Now understand something. I think it is. But, I think it is happy. Especially with the 2G, 3G, 4G, and now we're doing 5G. According to now this article was published by, I think it is, was published by William J. Broad from the New York Times, July 2019, last year. He cites a study in 2000. Now understand something, right? This is why I'm sorry. I'm very skeptical, right? I'm sorry if I'm so cynical, because I just am. I'm cynical of especially anything pertaining to the government, everything. I am very cynical. Well, I don't know, because according to the scientists, they say not only does thermal radiation pose a problem to us, but also non-thermal radiation. pose a problem, health problem to us. And we got 2G, 3G, 4G. Now they're throwing in 5G, wireless technology. In 2000, Broward County Public Schools in Florida received an alarming report. Like many affluent school districts at the time, Broward was considering laptops and wireless networks for its classrooms and its 250,000 students. Were there any health risks to worry about? Well, according to this physicist, for 45 years, Bill Curry, he reported the technology he reported back in 2000 was likely to be a serious health hazard. He summarized his most troubling evidence in a large graph labeled microwave absorption in brain tissue, gray matter, right? The chart showed the dose of radiation received by the brain as rising from left to right with the increasing frequency of the wireless signal. The slope was gentle at first, but when the line reached the wireless frequencies associated with computer networking, it shot straight up, indicating a dangerous level of exposure. This graph shows why I'm concerned, says Dr. Curry. The body of his report detailed how the radio waves could sow brain cancer, a terrifying disease that kills most of it. Champ, I really don't care. I'm trying to find out what's the truth. I am cynical of what comes out of God. I'm sorry. I'm not sheep. I'm not sheep, bro. Okay, Andrea. Over the years, Dr. Curry's warning spread far, resonating with educators, consumers, and entire cities as the frequencies of cell phones, cell towers, and wireless local networks rose. To no small degree, the blossoming anxiety over the professed health risks of 5G technology can be traced to a single scientist and a single chart. Except that Dr. Curry and his graph got it wrong, according to the New York Times article. According to experts on the biological effects of electromagnetic radiation, radio waves become safer at higher risk, not more dangerous. Extremely high frequency energies such as X-rays behave differently and do pose health risks. In his research, Dr. Curry looked at studies on how radio waves affect tissues isolated in the lab. I'm just reading what the New York Times is saying, champ, and misinterpreted the results as applying to cells deep inside the human body. His analysis failed to recognize the protective effect of human skin. At higher radio frequencies, I agree with you. I agree with you, champ. At higher radio frequencies, the skin acts as a barrier, shielding the interior organs, including the brain, from exposure. Human skin blocks the even higher frequencies of sunlight. It doesn't penetrate, says Christopher Collins, a professor of radiology at NYU, who studies the effect of high-frequency electromagnetic waves on humans. Dr. Curry's graph, he added, failed to take into account the shielding effect. Dr. Marvin Ziskin, an emeritus professor of medical physics at Temple, explored whether such high frequencies could sow illness. Many experiments, he said, support the safety of high-frequency waves. Despite the benign assessment of the medical establishment, Dr. Curry's flawed reports were amplified by a... Now, this is how Intel... So this is like an intelligence-driven... This is what I mean and what we're dealing with. Because information, misinformation, disinformation is the deep state, right? CIA, FBI nexus. They control the information. They're great at deception. This is they train at this. This is what they do, right, champ? They have their own. They have websites. They have these websites that they front, And this is how they move. Listen to this. Despite the benign assessment of the medical establishment, Dr. Curry's flawed reports were amplified by alarmist websites, prompted articles linking cell phones to brain cancer, and served as evidence in lawsuits urging the removal of wireless classroom technology. Exactly, champ. In time, echoes of his reports fed Russian news sites noting for stoking misinformation about 5G technology. What began as a simple graph became a case study on how bad science can take root and flourish. I still think there are health concerns, says Dr. Curry. The federal government needs to look at it more closely. Dr. Curry was not the first to endorse the idea that advances in wireless technology could harbor unforeseen risks. In 1978, Paul, Paul Brodeur, an investigative journalist, published The Zapping of America, which drew on suggestive but often ambiguous evidence to argue that the growing use of high frequencies could endanger human health. In contrast, Dr. Curry's voice was authoritative. He's a 45-year physicist, and he studies this stuff, electromagnetic fields, in reference to this with the radio frequencies. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, Happy, right? I don't know. We're not saying that. I'm just trying to see what's in the public domain if 5G is harmful. So Curry's voice was dark. He became a private consultant in the 90s after federal budget cuts brought his research career to an end. He had degrees in physics and electrical engineering. His credentials and decades of experience at federal and industrial laboratories, including the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, seemed to make him a very strong candidate to conduct the Broward study. He was a very bright guy, recalled Gary Brown, an expert in the district's technology unit who worked with Dr. Curry to prepare the reports. Is that true? Wow. Happy camper, that's true? But Dr. Curry lacked biological expertise. He could solve atomic and electromagnetic puzzles with ease. What up, Danny? But he had little or no formal training in the intricacies of biomedical research. In 2000, Dr. Curry, writing on letterhead from his home office in Chicago, sent the Broward District, two reports, the first in February and the second in September. The latter went to the superintendent and the school board and the district's head of safety and risk. The frequency graph, I'm sorry, in the second report was far more detailed. Its raising line bore annotations noting the precise locations for the wireless network dose and far lower down for radio, television, and cell phone signals. The newest generation of cell phones, 5G, will operate near the highest frequencies of radio wave spectrum. Lower down in the spectrum are wireless networks used in homes and schools. Overall, Dr. Curry's reports cast the emerging topic as crucial for public health. He warned that children were especially vulnerable to the cancer risk of wireless technology. Their brains are developing. Dr. Curry belonged to a national group of wireless critics, and his two reports for the Broward District soon began to circulate widely among industry woes. What up there, K-Dog? One reached Dr. David Carpenter, who for decades had clashed with the science establishment on the health risks of radio waves. Dr. Carpenter's credentials were impressive. He graduated magna cum laude in Harvard, 59, cum laude from its medical school, and 1985 to 97, he served as a dean of the School of Public Health at the State University of New York in Albany. And in 2001, became director of its Institute for Health and the Environment, where he still works. His resume lists hundreds of journal reports, jobs, grants, awards, advisory boards, books, and legal declarations. Dr. Carpenter stirred global controversy in the 1980s by asserting that high voltage power lines could cause leukemia in nearby children. He appeared as an authority in Mr. Brodeur's '89 book, Currents of Death, but federal researchers failed to find solid evidence to support the warnings. In 2011, Dr. Carpenter introduced Dr. Curry's graph in a lawsuit that sought to force the Portland public schools to abandon their wireless computer networks. The suit had been filed by a worried parent. As an expert witness, Dr. Carpenter said in a legal declaration that the graph showed how the brain's absorption of radio wave energy increases exponentially as wireless frequencies rise, calling it evidence of grave student danger. The graph illustrates the problem with the drive of wireless industry toward ever higher frequencies, he said. In response to such arguments, the industry noted that it obeys government safety rules. The judge in the Portland case said the court had no jurisdiction over federal regulatory matters and dismissed the case. Despite the setback, Dr. Carpenter's 2011 declaration, which included Dr. Curry's graph, kept drawing attention. In 2012, he introduced it as part of his testimony to a Michigan state board assessing wireless dangers, and it soon began circulating online among wireless critics. And he saw a new danger. Between 2010 and 2012, the frequencies of the newest generation of cell phones, 4G, rose past those typical of days wireless networks. Dr. Carpenter now has a much stronger and seemingly more urgent target, especially since cell phones were often held snugly against the head, right? And this is what we were going to. Remember the flip ones? Put it on your head. Could you put it on your head? Could you can't put it on your head? Then 5 to 6 years later, they're frying eggs on these cell phones in a commercial. It's crazy. This is what I'm saying. There is now much more evidence of risk to health affecting billions of people, he said, in introducing a 1,400-page report on wireless dangers that he edited with an aide. The status quo is not acceptable. His bio-initiative report, released in 2012, gained worldwide notice, but mainstream science rejected its conclusions. 2 Oxford University researchers described it as scientifically discredited. A fact is born. Unbowed, Dr. Carpenter worked hard to revise established science. In 2012, he became editor-in-chief of Reviews on Environmental Health. He published several authors who filled alarmist reports as well as his own. The rapid increase in the use of cell phones increases risk of cancer, male infertility, neurobehavioral abnormalities. In subsequent years, as the frequencies of wireless devices continued to rise, an associated risk of brain cancer was repeated uncritically, often without attrition to Dr. Curry or Dr. Carpenter. Instead, it came to be regarded as activists on an established fact of modern science. The higher the frequency, the more dangerous, according to Radiation Health Risks, a website in reference to signals from 5G towers. The idea was echoed by similar website, 5G Exposed. Higher frequencies are more dangerous to health, on a page entitled Scientific Discussion. Overall, the site bristled with brain cancer warnings. Recently, Dr. Carpenter told RT America, a Russian television network, that the newest cell phones represented a dire health threat. The rollout of 5G is very frightening, but nobody's going to be able to escape the radiation. In recent months, the network has run a series of segments critical of 5G technology. The higher the frequency, the more danger it is to living organisms, an RT reporter told viewers. The show described children as practically vulnerable. The new cell phones are to employ a range of radio frequencies up to dozens of times higher than those Dr. Curry identified 2 decades ago as endangering student life. But mainstream scientists continue to see no evidence of harm from cell phone radio waves. If phones are linked to cancer, we'd expect to see a marked uptick, says David Grimes, a cancer researcher at the University of Oxford. Yet we do not. In a recent interview, Dr. Carpenter defended his high frequency view. I agree with you, Tony. In a recent interview, Dr. Carpenter defended his high frequency view. You have all this evidence that cell phone radiation penetrates the brain, he said. But he conceded, after some discussion, that the increasingly high frequencies could in fact have a difficult time entering the body. There's some legitimacy to that point. He noted that in cities, 5G service requires the placement of many antenna towers. That's what went on in China. Because walls, buildings, rain, leaves, and other objects can block the high frequency signals. That's why they put the towers so close together. The waves do not penetrate. If human skin also blocks 5G signals, Dr. Carpenter acknowledged, maybe it's not that big a deal. Dr. Curry in an interview said he no longer follows the wireless industry and disavowed any. So he's basically saying they can say whatever they want, he said, and he'll leave it to the. So he concluded, Dr. Curry. So Dr. Carpenter acknowledged that maybe that it's not a big deal. So now he backed off. There you go. Right, Tony? He backed off. And Dr. Curry was less forthcoming. In an interview, he said he no longer follows the wireless industry and disavowed any knowledge of having made a scientific error. So Curry is sticking to his, they can say whatever they want, and he'll leave it to the young in the business and let them figure it out. He thinks that he was on point, Dr. Curry, the physicist. Now I'm going to this other article. The Scientific America article claims that, judging from the enthusiastic reception of 5G technology by governments and industry, we are on the verge of a technological revolution. Initially introduced to help wireless networks cope with ever-increasing data traffic on their networks, 5G will, its proponents claim, lead to game-changing innovations such as remote surgery, control of driverless vehicles, and much more. 5G, eventually slated to replace present-day 3G, 4G cellular telephone networks, promises to speed up the rate of data transfer by 100 times or more, greatly reduce latency, time between receipt of a signal by a cellular base station and its response, and allow cellular networks to manage far more wireless connected devices than presently possible. 5G, however, has become intensely controversial in many locations. With citizens groups and a few scientists, we're talking about 200 scientists with a 5G appeal letter, and 22 of them, of the 200, were American. Especially concerns about the possible health effects of radio frequency energy transmitted by 5G base stations. We got one in City Hall, New York. Public opposition appears to focus on two characteristics of the 5G networks. First, 5G systems will operate in several frequency bands, including one that is slightly below and will eventually extend into the millimeter wave part of the RF spectrum that extends from 30 to 300 gigahertz. While millimeter waves have not heretofore been used for cellular communication, they have been used for many other applications, including airport security scanners, anti-collision radar for automobiles, and to link present-day cellular base stations. I'm telling you, Danny, Public discussions appear to conflate 5G with millimeter wave communication. In fact, many 5G networks will operate at frequencies close to those used by present cellular networks, and some may use millimeter waves to handle high data traffic where needed. Second, 5G waves will rely on a multitude of small cells mounted close to subscribers, often on utility poles running along public streets. These small cells incorporate smart antennas that transmit multiple beams, up to 64 with present designs, eventually more, which can be independently steered to individual subscribers. They operate at much lower power levels than macro cells used by present systems, which are typically located on tops of buildings in urban areas. In the long run, these will be implemented by pico cells that are mounted inside buildings, operating at still lower power levels. The prospects of a dramatic increase in the number of sources transmitting RF signals is undoubtedly disquieting to many citizens, regardless of the actual health risks as understood by health agencies. The, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission has made the introduction of 5G a high priority, parrying back some regulations and giving local communities less control over the placement of small cells, although the issue has been in litigation and this may change somewhat. Thus, communities are facing the introduction of new infrastructure incorporating what is to the public new and unfamiliar technology. Engineers, for their part, are inclined to regard 5G as an extension of the present 3G, 4G cellular. I'm telling you, Dan. Okay, I'm going to read this. Now it's interesting. The possibility of harms from environmental exposures to radio frequency signals have been a long-standing concern of many citizens. And, I point to asbestos. And, years later, it became a problem. Lead in paint. We found out later it became a health problem. The fillings we put in our mouth, we found later that became a problem, a health problem. The cell phone to the head, I remember the flip phone. Should we put it to the head? Should we not? Is it okay? Could I use the Bluetooth? And 6 years later, 7, they're doing a commercial and they're frying eggs with the cell phone. So why can't that be the same thing with the 5G? Because of the money, the businesses are pushing this on us. Why can't this be something like that? That later on, it becomes a serious health problem. I don't understand. And people are right to be concerned about it. So the possibility of harms from environmental exposures to radio frequency signals have been a long-standing concern for many citizens, leading to public opposition to wireless base stations, broadcasting facilities, cell phones, and other commonplace technologies. In a 2017 survey, 2,400 residents of 6 European countries, Peter Weidman, found that 40% of the respondents had some concerns, with 12% describing themselves as enduringly concerned. That is, frequently thinking and talking about electromagnetic field exposure. Their concerns chiefly focused on involuntary exposures to RF signals from environmental sources, including cellular base stations, activist groups supported by an echo chamber of. See, now this is how they. There you go, Danny, right? Activist groups supported by an echo chamber of internet websites have protested the installation of Wi-Fi in schools, wireless-enabled electric utility meters, cellular-based stations, and other infrastructure that transmits RF energy into the environment. While levels of public exposure to RF fields from future 5G networks have not been surveyed in detail, few such networks are in operation. The technology is evolving rapidly. And in China, it's It's a hit all over. And Wuhan was one of them. You're right, Danny, right? It seems unlikely that they will be very different from those from existing cellular networks because the fundamental imperatives of the technology are the same: to provide a signal that is strong enough to communicate with an individual subscriber, but not strong enough to cause interference to users in adjourning cells. So I'm gonna read more of this. It's a pretty long letter. I'm gonna read more of this. It basically poo-poos the danger of 5G. So I'm gonna read more of it. So we'll read it tomorrow night. It's gonna be everywhere. You're right. But the point is it is it causing health problems? Or will it? So, well, I don't know if it'll. This is what I'm going to read this post. This is what this chick wrote on Facebook. I don't know who this girl is. From a post on Facebook. She got this from a post. The Chinese, this is February 24th. The Chinese were all given mandatory vaccines last fall. The vaccine contained replicating digitized controlled RNA, which was activated by 60 gigahertz millimeter 5G waves that were just turned on in Wuhan, as well as all other countries using 60 gigahertz 5G, with the smart dust that everyone on the planet has been inhaling through chemtrails. I don't know how true this is, but this is what she posted. There's no sources to it, so I don't know. That's why when they say someone is cured, the virus can be digitally reactivated at any time, and the person can literally drop dead. The Diamond Princess cruise ship was specifically equipped with the 60 GHz 5G. It's basically remote. She says it's basically remote assassination. Americans are currently breathing in this smart dust through chemtrails. Think of it like this: add the combination of vaccines, chemtrails, smart dust, and 5G, and your body becomes internally digitized and can be remotely controlled. A person's organ functions can be stopped remotely if one is deemed non-compliant. Wuhan was a test run for ID 2020. The elite call this 60 GHz M 5G wave the V wave virus to mock us. And she's saying that Trump created a space force in part to combat this weaponized technology. We need to vehemently reject the attempted mandatory vaccine issue because our lives depend on it. This was on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know. There's no sources here. You know, I don't know. It's crazy, right? We got, so here's the thing now, right? We got a chick dropping in February, right? A chick dropping a Facebook post, no sources. So I don't know what that means, right? Then we got New York Times, and they debunked it. And then we got this Scientific America. They were debunking the harms of 5G, right? And then we got the 5G letter with the 200 scientists claiming that there's a problem with 5G, talking about a worldwide pandemic on the come up from 2017. And then they're claiming that the electromagnetic radiation levels are below national standards, and they're still posing a risk. And they invoke the reasons why the national guidelines are high because of the relationships within the telecommunications and electric companies, undermining the impartiality that should govern the regulation of public exposure standards for non-ionizing radiation. So we got, on the back end, we got all this stuff, right? All this. Some say it's hogwash. Dr. Fauci said this is hogwash, basically, right? So everybody's saying this 5G thing is ridiculous. And you got 200 scientists that wrote a letter to the EU on appeal. And then we look at some of the track history of some of the things that have been, well, it's okay to put the cell phone on your head, the flip phone, it's okay, put it like this, it's okay. And we find out 6 years later that you can fry eggs on it, right? And then we found out that asbestos wasn't a problem, and later on it became a problem. Lead in paint, it wasn't a problem, it became a problem. The fillings you put in your mouth, right, Joel? I'm telling you, there's something not right over here, right? And then here's the thing that like drives me crazy, right? So that's the back end. Now let's look at the front end, the politicians, right? So we're hearing them and they're telling us, this is COVID, this is this, stay in your house, self-quarantine, wear a mask, socially distanced. They get all of this stuff going on. So here's the question I ask. Do you think if there was an inkling, not a scientific inkling, in other words, where there was actual experiments with repeatable results that show 5G, there's a cause and effect between 5G and 5G technology and the COVID, just an inkling that maybe, like hydroxychloroquine, maybe something of it may produce a positive effect on fighting this COVID, right? So if they had something of an inkling that 5G technology could be causing something in this, maybe like what this group said. I read it earlier. They said, what if the deaths are not a virus, but a 5G cell breakdown that mimics the effects of a virus? So let's just say like something like, not even like that, but anything that there might be some sort of connection. There might be some sort of a connection to from the 5G to the COVID. Something, right? What do you think? Like, do you trust? Like, I'm from New York. Do you trust de Blasio and Cuomo, like, to give us the right information? Like Cuomo said, I'm going to send the COVID patients to the nursing homes. And I'm paraphrasing him. He said, they're older anyway. They're going to die anyway. That's basically, I mean, those weren't his exact words, but that's basically what he was implying. They're older. They're going to die anyway. Everybody's going to die, right? So I'm telling you, it's crazy. So, like, who do we believe? I don't believe, well, from my perspective, I'm from Brooklyn, right? Right? Andrea? Okay, Bart. But, right? I mean, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be honest, you know. I don't believe Cuomo. I don't believe de Blasio. Cuomo's in the streets with Black Lives Matter. Today, de Blasio's painting the murals of Black Lives Matter in the streets, the public streets. What happened to All Lives Matter? What happened to Hispanic lives matter? What happened to Asian lives matter? What happened to white lives matter? What happened to Jewish lives matter? What happened to all lives matter? This is crazy. I don't even want to talk about it. It is great pizza. I agree. I agree with you, bro. This is stupid. What up, Bart? I'm just like, because I don't believe de Blasio and Cuomo. They would not. So in other words, as long as the hospitalization rates are cool, they're cool. You know what I'm saying? So what? How it gets there? You know, I got the doctors, the Faucis, the Barexes, the Redfields, the Garans, the Adams doctors from the task force telling us all this stuff, all the way from Wuhan lab to Tehran to Italia to all over the world. So, and if any indication it's 5G, it doesn't matter. Just as long as okay, Joe. Just as long as it's funny. Just as long as it doesn't affect the hospitalization rate, they don't care. And they showed how much they cared when they sent the COVID patients to the nursing homes. And then the genius Cuomo, he got his MD from Weill Cornell recently, talking about blunting the curve. This genius, he was right, and Trump was in a Wuhan lab, genetically modifying the virus. Right? He created it. Right? Sick. Cuomo was talking about 40,000 ventilators, and he ended up giving away 100 plus ventilators. These people are ridiculous. Stupid as nobody's business. I am like, this is crazy. What is going on here? Now they're talking about, Andrea, it's crazy, right? I mean, that's another thing. Now, let's talk about this, right? Now they're talking about Biden and the Democrats about a mandatory mask. Biden's saying a mandatory mask for your life. The COVID is going to go on for life. They love this. Keep people in their houses. I mean, this is the sickest stuff I've ever heard. Keep people in their houses. It's the COVID. You got to wear a mask. It's going to be mandatory. And Biden's talking about making it a mandatory for life. Now let's talk, right? The mainstream media was pushing tests. Why? For the reasons why they're doing it today. So they can use it against our great president, right? It's crazy, Seichi. It's crazy what's going on today, right? I don't even want to, this Black Lives Matter movement, this Antifa movement, I think it's the dumbest stuff on the planet. These are morons. We're facing stuff right now. They're talking about stuff that happened 200 years ago. I wasn't even born 200 years ago. My grandparents from Italia weren't even thinking about coming here 200. They weren't even here 200 years ago. This is the dumbest stuff I've ever seen in my life. This is stupid. I'm talking about the government making us wear a mask, doing tracing, surveilling us. I'm talking about a deep state, right? 400 days, right? This is crazy. 400 years ago, say America didn't even exist. This is sick. I ain't got time for it. So now the tests, right? They call for the mainstream media was breaking our great president's child. Where's the test? Where's the test? They wanted the test from Trump, so they'd show a lot of tests with the hope they'd have a lot of cases and hopefully, right? So they could blame Trump. That's part of they wanted Trump to give them the data so they can blame him. That's what this whole thing is. To blame Trump for the COVID. Blame Trump. So make them do the tests. The deaths are over 200, over 100-something thousand, horrific, and all the tests positive. And now they got all that information in the domain, and they're going to use it against him. He's still going to win, but that's the problem, right? Well, the tests are going up, the cases are going up, and apparently the mortality rate is down, very much down. It's my understanding. But still, 200,000, 150,000. That's a lot of death, man. That's horrific. Well, based on what President Trump was saying, the initial model was 1 to 2 million. So that that's all death is bad. Obviously, we don't want death. But the point is, what's going on? Is this an overstimulated environment with electromagnetic radiation? That's doing something to. I'm telling you, Joe, this is crazy, and I just don't believe. I'm looking at this more like don't put the cell. You could put the cell phone to your head with remember the flip phones, and then you found out 6 years later you can't. But this over here is more serious because it seems to be where it's a lot more contagious and it's a quick hit. And how I found out, I talked about it on my last show, and this is why I'm doing it. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Absolutely. Right? I agree with you. We're pro-Trump. All the way. Absolutely, Cheese. He's the best. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. Because the states are running this show. Absolutely, Cheese on. Absolutely. And I tell you the truth, I'm looking at the numbers. The polls are, first of all, it's Trump right now versus COVID. Trump versus these race riots, right? So, it is what it is. I don't believe in the methodology. I don't believe the random samples are accurate anyway. But it isn't the... Really? I don't know about all that because I know, JFK Jr. posed a serious threat to Hillary Rodham Clinton's political future. We know that. Wow. JFK Jr.? Wow. Here's interesting. A lot of stuff came out. The stuff that he was trying to do with his George magazine. He was ahead of the time. He had an amazing political career ahead of him. He was his father on steroids. He really was. That guy was an amazing. He would have been an amazing politician. Did I tell you the story of my father? I was outside working out, so my nose is. I was jumping rope. All right, Joe. Well, Cheese on, it's crazy, right? So I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on over here, right? Because basically, the governor and the mayor is telling us what we should do and shouldn't do, right? I don't believe these people, And I was jumping rope in my backyard, and I went to the front. I don't know, Adrian. I wear a mask right now. I'm telling you, Joe, right? This is like Sharia law, right? So I'm outside, messed up. Oh God, geez, it's crazy. I'm outside. I'm huffing, puffing. I just finished like 10 minutes on the rope. I'm sweating like a craziness. I did like today. I did a 10-minute hit today. I'm working up to a 15, 20-minute hit. HIIT, high intensity interval training, right? So on the rope. Oh, it's great. I feel great because that makes me feel good, I haven't sweated like this since they closed the gyms. Oh, it's great, Joe. The rope is the best. If you can do the rope, obviously, I want to do weights, but I got to wait till the gyms open up and I figure out I'll probably go early in the morning. So I was roping. I went to the front and I was walking around. I was, sweating. And one of my buddies happened to be walking down with his dog, and we're talking. He's in the middle of the street because he's got he's a really cool, right? He's got kids. He's got a very pretty wife. Really cool dude. We talk sports all the time. When I run into him, we're two big Yankee fans. So he's walking his dog toward the park, and we started talking about the Yankees. He waited a minute, and we started talking about the Yankees. Don't get me in trouble. Oh man. The women get the women. That's my. I just love pretty women. I love pretty women. I don't care if they're vanilla or chocolate or I just love it. It gets. That's why I pray a lot because I just got to keep it. So it's crazy. So so I pray a lot and it keeps me in. That's why I miss church. So we're talking about Yankees and everything, and then we started talking about the 5G, and all of a sudden he says to me, he goes, Frank, he goes, he had a virus, and then he ended up getting pains in his chest, and he says his wife says, go to the doctor, you got to go. He went to the doctor, and the doctor said that he had blood clots. He has the COVID. This guy is like 35. He's in good shape. He's not obese, morbidly obese. This dude's in good shape. Walks his dog, takes his kids to the takes his kids because his kids are big baseball, like 10, 11, 12, something like that. They play baseball. And these kids are like animals. One kid is I think like it's almost 6 foot. He's 12, 13 years old. I mean, these kids are like, forget about it, right? And he takes them everywhere. The kids are pretty nice athletes. And this guy's like plugged in. He's telling me he had the COVID. They're giving him because I was watching. I can't find. I had this other video because this is the thing that turned me on too. This video with these Italian doctors claiming that they did autopsies on the COVID patients, and they found that it was um, blood clots, and this guy got blood clots, and they treated him with aspirin and blood thinners, and that's what they said was the treatment. What the heck is going on here? So is this SARS plus with the 5G? I don't know. I have no idea. And this 5G thing, I can't find. I had this other article on on. I'll find it for tomorrow night. I never did. Yippee.com. It's good. I always do Google. Let me look it up now. Yippee.com. 5G. Let me get to Yippee. I did it wrong. Let me get to Yippee first. Wow, it's powered by IBM. Wow. Wow, look at this. Really interesting. It does. Thank you. Thank you, Say Cheese One. Wow. Gotcha. What up, Porky? Yo, Pork. Trump got 28% of the Hispanic vote. Google filters. Gotcha, bro. Thank you, my brother. Trump got 28% of the Hispanic vote in 16. Now they're saying it's going to be upwards of late 30s. And he may, with the right push, Joe Biden may not get 60%. It could be a landslide. If Joe Biden doesn't get, he's not going to get Hillary Clinton numbers on the Spanish vote. You think he's getting 70% in Florida? That much? Porky? They're saying, is it dangerous? What time is it? It's 10 times faster than 4G. That's what they claim. Oh, yeah, because Hillary got 66% of the Spanish vote in 16. 66%. Biden is not crushing 60. There's a chance Biden 5G coronas. Okay. All the time, right? Let me go China. Wow, look at this. Now this guy, I think this guy is a Democrat. David Ike. ICKE. Let me see if this guy's a who is this guy? The China coronavirus 5G connection. Wow, look at this. If this is true, who's this guy David Icke? Icke. This is crazy, bro. The China coronavirus connection is a very important factor when trying to comprehend the coronavirus outbreak. Various independent researchers around the web for around 2 or 3 weeks now have highlighted the coronavirus 5G link, despite the fact that Google, as the self appointed NWO, is doing its best to hide and scrub all search results showing the connection. There you go, brother. Thank you, One Cheese. Oh, he has. I've analyzed the entire genome sequence of this virus and compared it to the entire genome sequences of all the coronaviruses that we have data for. And this weird element that doesn't belong there. I found that it actually did match a vector technology that was published in '98 in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. The vector technology is a mechanism by which molecular biologists insert new genes into viruses and bacteria. Now, it's really unusual to find a vector technology sequence in a virus that's circulating in humans. So naturally, one thing we could say, I think for certain that this particular virus has a laboratory origin, so we can rule out a natural origin. Wow, that's crazy. Is this guy a scientist? Wow, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this tomorrow. Wow, that's a good article, man. Love Trump, Femi. I hope he's got 5 Stormy Daniels in his closet. I can't wait to vote for him. I saw that ID 2020. I saw that. I looked that up. The inaugural ID 20 summit brought over 400 people to discuss how to provide digital identity to all. Wow, it's crazy. You're nuts, love. Femi, love, you're nuts. That's it, bro. One luck, the best. Trump is the best. Who are you going to vote for, Femi, love? Joe Biden? A type of directed energy weapon. It's crazy. You're ridiculous, family love. Yeah, that's, I don't know, but this guy is pretty interesting. Kanye 28. Vote for Kanye. Kanye got good beats. Kanye gets, it's funny. I'm watching Fox News. They had this African American professor on, trying to tell me and the people that if Kanye West runs, he's taking votes from Trump. Are you kidding me? Am I wrong, Porky? Right, sure. I think he's a better rapper than Jay-Z. I'll say that. But bro, the dude on Fox News is trying to tell the listeners, like myself, right? If he gets 4 or 5% of the vote, he's getting African American vote. Kanye's taken from Biden. Best Yankee of all time. Wow. That's a toss-up. That's a toss-up. You got, in this era, you got to say Derek Jeter's got to be up there, right? Mantle, absolutely. Derek Jeter because of his postseason play. Derek Jeter's postseason play puts him with the great ones. He wasn't a big home run hitter. He didn't hit 600, 700 homers like A-Rod did. He wasn't a big banger. He was a tremendous baseball player. So Derek Jeter's postseason, well, Reggie was, I mean, you can't see, Reggie was with the Yankees for like 3 years. He was a great baseball player. He's a Hall of Famer. Derek Jeter's a Hall of Famer. Reggie's a Hall of Famer, absolutely. Money player, too. Absolutely. I wasn't a big Reggie fan, but he was big-time money guy. Absolutely. See, I like Thurman Munson, but to me, over the long haul, you got to say Derek Jeter from today. Relief pitchers, I never looked at relief pitchers like that. And there's a few, like, until Mo Rivera came around. And he was an absolute... A-Rod was great. Great baseball player. But A-Rod confessed twice, it's my understanding. I saw one, Mr. October, right, Champ? A-Rod twice confessed to PEDs. Barry Bonds never proved this, it was speculation. Right, Joel? But Barry Bonds was the greatest hitter I've ever seen. It was Barry Bonds. Mantle's a great baseball player. Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter I've ever seen. On steroids or not on steroids. His on-base percentage was 500. He was sick. He was sick. Yeah, because I guess because of the roids, right? Ken Griffey was a great baseball player all around. Talking about all around, Ken Griffey. A-Rod, to me, see, A-Rod confessed to PEDs, right? A-Rod's a great baseball player. I think at 21 years old, he may have been a 30-30 guy or a 40-40 guy at 21 years old. A-Rod was a nice shortstop. What puts Jeter in the equation is his postseason play. A-Rod doesn't measure up to Jeets when the money on the table. Money on the table, Jeets was better. You're right, Femi. I agree with you. Now, best Yankee of all time. So you got Jeter. Mo Rivera was a weapon. We wouldn't have beaten the Mets in 2000 if it wasn't for Mo Rivera. Those games were close. What up, Raul? Raul, Trump right now, Hispanic vote is late 30s. I don't think Biden is getting 60% of the Hispanic vote. I don't know, champ. That's maybe he is, maybe he's not. Joe DiMaggio now. Whoa. What's amazing about Joe D? He only played 12 seasons. You got it, brother. Thank you, Raul. You don't think he's going to get 50% of the Hispanic vote? Bro, he was amazing, Cheese on. And he bagged Marilyn. You're right. Marilyn Monroe. Beautiful woman. Oh, my God. She's like my top 3 of all time. Her, and I got a few others. Well, Femi Love, if you want to be honest, before the COVID virus, Iron Man, right? Oh yeah, Lou Gehrig, absolutely. Well, Joe D, I think 361 homers, and he struck out 390 times, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. 12 seasons. What's that? 400 strikeouts in 12 seasons. He hit 361 homers at Yankee Stadium at the time. He was a right-handed hitter. I think it was almost 500 feet left center. He was a left center hitter. I think, let me look. He struck out 300. Pete Rose is great. Oh, my God. Come on. Come on, Joe. Pete Rose? The best. Petey Rose? You couldn't pay him. Intangibles. How do you know? Because he had a young girlfriend? Come on. He was in Lolita Island? Come on, how do you know? How do you make a statement like that? Come on, man. How do you make a statement like that? He admitted to what? Going to Lolita Island, champ? Frankie Viola, wow. She was 12? I don't know. I agree. Rivera was the best. He has J-Lo. When? Jeter's a great baseball player. Jeter's old school. He's like, I consider Jeter the New York Yankees Pete Rose. He was, oh, I'm a Thurman guy. Thurman Munson. So let's look at this. 396 divided by 12. So on average, I think he already didn't he? Well, good luck. You know, I'm not a hater. J-Lo's a beautiful woman. What is she, 50? You know, A-Rod was a great baseball player, no doubt. God bless him, you know. But, you know, there's a lot of traffic over there, you know. I don't like chicks with a lot of traffic. She's got a lot of traffic. J-Lo's a beautiful woman, Joe. Beautiful. Her age, beautiful. But she's got a lot of traffic, son. I don't like chicks with traffic. You know, I don't like it. Right? I don't like that. Like a highway, right? Come on, man. I'm just being honest. She's a beautiful woman, and apparently she's a tremendous businesswoman. Jessica Alba, yeah. That's one of Jeets' right? Viola? So Joe DiMaggio struck out 396 times in 12 seasons. That's 33 strikeouts a season. He had a lifetime batting average of 320. Sick. In Yankee Stadium. You're right, like a tunnel. You're right. That's sick, bro. That's sick. That puts him in the and then plus his postseason, 33 a season. He struck out, I think he had 361 homers. Jillian Rebicini, right? Right, Porky? J-Lo's incredible. She looks great. Incredible for her age. She's got to be in the 50s. The 20-somethings got nothing on her. Who's 33? You can't touch 33. Whoa, who's 30? Yeah, 33 strikeouts. Average. 12. I think he played 12 seasons. 396 strikeouts in 12 seasons. That comes out to approximately 33 strikeouts a year. Oh, she's unbelievable. Viola. Oh, absolutely. Frankie V. Now, everybody said Frankie Viola. I think he's from Long Island. He went to St. John's. Hey, you got Joe Girardi, bro. Girl, is that a chick? Femi Love? You got Joe Girardi. And you signed Zach Wheeler. Girardi's a tough manager, bro. Cubbies. Wow, the Cubbies are great. Who's that? Pete Rose? Oh my God. Yo, champ. What the heck? He got 503 million, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, thank you for the kind words there, Joel and Raul. Jackie Robinson, a nice baseball player. He was nice. He was a good baseball player. Tough guy. He went through some tough, it was a tough time to play baseball, an Afro-American at the time. But, the way I see this, I don't know. I'm not even. Oh God, Joe, I'm not even. But for the grace of God, you never say never. George Brett. Wow, George Brett was a great baseball player. Wow, Raul, God bless you. Jackie, all-around athlete, Olympian too. Was he an Olympian? I didn't know that. Really? Jackie Robinson? Wow. Russo Warren. Oh man. Great point, champ. Billy Martin was a tough guy. I agree. Great manager. If he didn't drink, he would have been arguably one of the greatest manager ever to live. He was a drinker though. It affected his off the field. He knew baseball like nobody. Russo Jones. Yo, Pat Mahomes, 140 million guaranteed. Wow. The family. Well, maybe he's with his soulmate. If you meet there's one thing about money, right? Everybody wants money. Money could steal happiness, bro. If you don't handle money right, money could steal happiness, bro. I'm telling you, better get a prenup, right, Joel? So when are we going to hear one of these football players say, you know something? What up, Jim? When are we going to hear one of these football? Look at Hollywood, right, Chip? Absolutely. When are we going to hear one of these football players? I could care less. You think Biden's picking Michelle Obama? T.O. went bankrupt? Terrell Owens, right? I'm telling you, bro. One of these athletes going to say, stand for the... It's crazy, right? Stand for the flag and say, God bless America. Thank you, America. Only in America is he going to earn $500 million. Probably the most African-American millionaires and billionaires are in America. Let's be honest and real, right? Come on, man. Right? She's on. Cal Ripken Jr., nice baseball player. I agree. Cal Ripken Jr. was a nice baseball player. Nothing, Femi. Are you a chick? He made 130 million? What a joke. He's not Jack. That is a joke. Are you serious? Kaepernick made? Kurt Schilling, nasty, bro. Roberto Clemente. Yo, that dude had a freaking cannon. Roberto Clemente, a freaking cannon from right field. Son, that dude had a howitzer. Willie Mays is a nice baseball player, too. You're talking about the greats. Are you serious, champ? Roberto Clemente had a freaking howitzer in right field. An absolute howitzer. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Those Nolan Ryan, one season, right, in a game was the other thing. Yeah, Roberto was unbelievable, right? And Nolan Ryan, one season, 50 million? Wow. That's crazy, man. Only in America. Yeah, the goose was nasty. If he stays healthy, who doesn't like Aaron Judge? 4 more years, that's what I'm talking about, drunk. Oh my God, Lenny Dykstra. Oh my God, what a hitter. Oh, the Mets. He was I'm a Yankee fan. When the Mets traded Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan was sick. They had Ryan and Seaver on the same staff. Nolan Ryan one game threw 249 pitches. He threw, I think, two no-nos in his 40s, Nolan Ryan. Right? Drunk. Oh, yeah, I never faced a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Randy Johnson was another one. Oh, my God. But Lenny Dykstra, if it wasn't for him, I don't think the Mets win in 86. Big-time clutch player. Oh, my God. Lenny Dykstra. Oh, my God. And they traded him next year, and he won the batting title. I mean, he was crazy, but he was some baseball player. Wow, what a baseball player. Lenny Dykstra? No, I don't, Joe. Honestly, I don't. Jamie Moyer, yeah, he was slick. You know who's the guy to watch this year? Oh, you at the stadium with the Jim Abbott? No. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, he liked drugs, unfortunately. The Griffies, right? Mike Mussina, yo. If Mike didn't play around, son, if Mike didn't play around, he made the Hall of Fame with 270 games. But a lot of times, man, he would get two strikes, and he would catch the plate more than he should have. Anyone, I agree with you, Joe. I agree. But I think the Mussina was unbelievable. I agree, nasty. But he should have been. He could have won 300 games. I'm telling you, Jim. Right? You know who's the guy to watch this year in football? I'm telling you. And I'm not a fan of the Patriots. They got Cam Newton. I'm telling you, man. People don't see this. If that guy's got any football left in him, if his legs are okay, yo, they give him $7-8 million this year, 1-year contract. He's playing for big money. They're going to make him into the world champion that he is. They're sick, Joe. Sick. Cam could have a resurgence, champ. See, the thing about Cam, what he lacked, if he doesn't get hurt, Jim, the Patriots are going to pull out the best. Felix Mian used to chalk up. Cam Newton, the problem with Cam, he don't jump on the toughness. He didn't jump on that fumble in the Super Bowl. He didn't jump on that fumble. That bothered me. I forgot somebody else blogged something I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to talk. He stays in the pocket. His pocket play has improved a lot. That's why he's become a really good quarterback. His toughness. Yeah, that's the point, right? RG3. See, this is the point. This is what I'm saying. You go to the combine. What's up, Chief? You go to the combine, and RG3 arguably put up one of the best numbers of any quarterback in the history. Right? And I don't remember that one. Oh, yeah. Was it Buddy Harrelson? What up, Eric? Here comes the Red Sox. But I think that Cam Newton, Vic was crazy. Vic was nuts. Great football player. Willie Randolph. Oh God, Brooklyn. You know who turned the best double play I've ever seen? But he's a little Robinson Cano. He had the nasty. His hands were so quick on the 6'4", sick. Watch Cano in his day with the Yankees. Vic was crazy. He had crazy feet. I agree. Vic had crazy feet. He was a monster. When Cano was with the Yankees, Joe, his hands, his hands were very underrated. Smooth as he was unbelievable, bro. You know, the Mets in 86, after 86, I think 88, they had 3 Cy Young Award winners and a runner-up, and they didn't win a World Series. Frankie Viola, Brett Saberhagen, Dwight Gooden, who wasn't, if he wasn't on the thing, I agree with you. This year, I think Giancarlo. There's one thing about Giancarlo. See, I like Giancarlo, even though I think he's in the way. You see, that's the problem, Femi, right? So what did you think about Houston? See, that's what I mean. Are you a chick? Are you a chick? What about Houston? Houston cheated. They beat us at 17. Oh, you're a man? Houston beat us at 17. Right? They had the buzzer. They got Verlander 2 weeks before the playoffs. They bought him for the playoffs. Right, Porky? Telling you. Who's the best pitcher right now? We got him. The Whale. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Is that a question? Well, I like Scherzer too. Scherzer's an animal. Garrett Cole. Oh my gosh. That guy is he's going 100 miles an hour right now. See the thing about the Yankees? The Yankees got talent. Oh my gosh. I think Miguel Andujar is going to be the starting third baseman. Clint Frazier may not even start. May not even crack the team. Tanaka, yeah, I like Tanaka, but is he okay? He got hit in the head, right? The Yankees got some team. See, what's going to make the Yankees, Aaron Boone now is no longer a rookie manager. Aaron Boone, he's perfect for the Yankees. Aaron Boone. And now he's got the pitching coach that he needed, Matt Blake. I agree with you, Viola. No, it's not true. It's not true. Come on. Come on, Femi. Oh, I love Didi. I agree with you, Joe. I agree. Maybe, right? That it could be. Boone is perfect for the Yankees, bro. Porky, 150. Wow. Clint Frazier may not even. I'm telling you, between him and Andujar, the Yankees buy the championship. Oh man,